Good morning, I'm Rachel New, that is Neil Diamond and Sweet Caroline. You're listening to BBC WM. My next guest is an inspiring man who, following university, decided he wanted to do something that would have a real impact on the planet. Tom Pell is the founder of something called the Clean Kilo and is hoping to set up Birmingham's first unpacked supermarket. If you don't know what that means, it means that basically everything in there won't be packaged. You'll take all your own vessels and fill them up yourself. Is that about right, Tom?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, exactly.
It's really exciting to have you on because this is something that single-use plastic is such a huge problem, isn't it?
Absolutely, it's used for such a short period of time, but then lasts for such a long time afterwards.
Exactly. 40% of the plastic that we use is single-use, and I think we've all seen the images on things like the Blue Planet of sea creatures being wrapped up in plastic, and
it just heart-wrenching.
It is, absolutely. Birmingham as well has one of the worst rates of recycling in the country. Annual government figures show that the city recycled, reused or composted just 24.4% of all its household waste in 2016-2017. So is it statistics and things like this that got you started with this idea?
Yeah, I mean, it was documentaries as well that I watched that like you say, that the images of sea creatures, marine life being sort of tangled up or consuming, or just the sort of data that they got that showed that they'd been consuming plastic, like testing them for BPA and things like that that's in the plastic. Those kinds of statistics, yeah. But the knowledge about Birmingham's poor sort of recycling stats was quite a recent discovery of mine, so that sort of just fueled it, I suppose.
You thought this would be a good place to set it up?
Absolutely. I mean, when the bin strikes happened last year, sort of towards the end of last year, I really thought, well, this will be a real sort of help for that kind of situation. There'll be hopefully a lot less sort of waste if we all shut that
there's been there are certain trends that are really unhelpful when it comes to plastic. I mean, when I was a kid, you washed with a bar of soap, and now everyone seems to have some kind of shower gel, and every bathroom has 3 or 4 shower gels in it, and shampoo and conditioner.
Yeah.
And it's very difficult to avoid that. I mean, I've looked online to see if there's somewhere you can go and just take your plastic bottle and fill it up with shampoo, but you can't.
No, there isn't. I mean, in Birmingham there is one place where you can already get detergents and things like that, but there's only like a selection of 1 or 2 items that you can get. But I mean, there are bars of soap at the supermarket, things like that you can use. I think it's a lot of advertisement that makes people think, well, I'd really like that fresh-smelling Lynx, or I shouldn't say that on air.
Other fresh-smelling plastic bottle shower gels are available, absolutely.
That make you really want to sort of buy that kind of stuff, and really a bar of soap just does exactly the same thing, and in fact really you're just buying water that's added to that bar of soap in a bottle, and paying for that extra weight that it gets delivered,
and throwing that bottle away.
And throwing the bottle away at the end.
So the Clean Kilo, this is your shop.
Yes.
That is not yet open.
That's right.
So a couple of questions. When do you hope the shop will be open?
Well, we're hoping for sort of early May.
Okay.
Things are taking a bit longer than we thought they would. We thought we would have signed a lease mid-December, and it's now nearly mid-February, and we're not. Well, it's mid-February, and we're not quite there yet. So,
but you have a premises.
We've got premises.
Brilliant.
It's just they're drafting a lease, which then needs to be sent to us, and then sent to solicitors and things like that. So it's just a bit of time, really.
And what kind of things can you? I mean, talk through the setup, because I've got a kind of image in my mind of how it's going to work. I've been saving my large gherkin jars to come and fill with rice and things.
Yeah,
trust me, this is true. My understair cupboard is literally full of all the things I'm going to bring in to fill stuff up with.
Yeah.
But how will it operate? So if someone wants to come to the Clean Kilo when it opens, how do they go about it? What do they need to bring?
Well, yeah, I mean, of course, saving up the jars and bottles that you've already got is really the key point. But also, you can get, if you're thinking that this might be quite heavy to take with you to the supermarket, then you can also get these sort of fabric bags, which you can use made of cotton or whatever, and you can use them to put in your pasta or your rice or whatever, and they work just as well, and they're a lot lighter. So there's things like that you could get. When you come to the shop itself, when you come in, you can weigh those containers, and what happens is the scales will print out a label with a barcode, and then you can go up to all of the dispensers, which are like they'll have like a lever on them that you can put your container below. You pull the lever and it dispenses out. So effectively, none of that product will be able to be touched by customers or anything like that before it goes in the container. And then when you take it back to the scales, you rescan it and it subtracts the weight of the container for you. So it's all kind of automated like that, which we hope will sort of build up with the convenience of the way it works. Yeah.
Now, for me, I'm motivated by the reduction in plastic use. I mean, even if I wasn't environmentally minded, I'd just be thinking it just seems crazy. You know, every week I recycle all of these bottles.
Yeah.
But for other people who might be maybe motivated by cost, is it going to be, you know, cheaper to buy your stuff that way, and by what percentage do you know?
Well, we think that we can be competitive with the supermarket, certainly. Cheaper is a difficult one. But we think we can certainly be competitive, mainly because we will buy in huge bags, sort of 25 kilos of products or 10 kilos, different sizes for different products. But because of that, we're cutting down a lot on costs, and we can pass that cut on costs onto the customer as well. So, we're pretty certain we can be competitive, definitely.
So as consumers, a lot of us are trying to do our best with recycling, and sometimes it's very infuriating to see how much packaging is on the food we buy. Do you think there could be a day where we reduce that down to virtually nothing? I mean, and do you think your shop will be able to do that?
With a lot of innovation, yeah, I think there's a problem with things that are shorter shelf life, things like cream and milk. But it's all about, I think there are people that are working on innovative ways to kind of dispense those so that there's no contact with air. Because obviously as soon as they contact air, then that's when they start to sort of perish. Yeah, exactly. But I think it could happen, definitely. At least get rid of as much plastic as possible, and there might be some things in cardboard perhaps.
What can we do as consumers? You know, just going about our business. What can we do? Is there anything? Do you think there's any benefit in speaking to the girl at the checkout about how much you hate the packaging, or writing to your local supermarket?
Yeah, I think that's quite a useful thing to do, and I think I've heard some people remove their packaging and leave it behind if they feel like it's completely unnecessary, and I've heard a lot of people do that. In terms of like what you can do yourself, I think one of the key things is when you do buy products, and not necessarily food products, but items that you use in the home, buy the ones that are made out of sort of natural materials. So, you know, wood, metal, cotton, because if they do break, they're biodegradable or parts of it recyclable. But if you buy things like, for example, a mop, and it's made out of plastic and it cracks, it's completely
going to the landfill.
It has to go to landfill, and especially as they're generally made of a mixture of materials that can't be separated. So that's one of the key things that I think people can do is try and buy things that are fixable, and if they're not fixable, they're biodegradable.
Yeah, well, hopefully there's a lot of people listening, because, you know, a lot of people, we tend as a nation to say, oh, things used to be so much better. But, I mean, what you're actually talking about is going back to the habits and the practices that we had 50 or 100 years ago, you know, when these materials weren't available, and you can buy a mop with a wooden handle.
Yeah, I mean, you can still buy those now. We've got one, and we've replaced the head on it, and the bits can go in the compost or whatever, cotton strands and stuff.
So the Clean Kilo, you're hoping to have it open at the beginning of May.
Yes.
And you've got everything in place, and we should be able to come in. I should be able to come in clanking around with my jars and my old ice cream tubs and whatever else I can put stuff in. And,
everything, anything that could go on the scales, that can be weighed, that can be filled, you can use, as long as it's clean.
Good. And in the meantime, I'm going to work on my dream plan of getting a big tanker that has shampoo in it and driving around the country, which might not be very environmentally friendly, and with a loud hailer saying, bring out shampoo bottles and I'll fill them up, because I think that's the next thing to go. I think all the amount of shampoo and washing up liquid and everything that comes in plastic bottles. You won't be doing those, though, will you? You'll be doing food.
We've got shampoo and cleaning products. Yeah.
Amazing.
So we'll have a range of things like washing up liquid, liquid detergents. We'll have powder detergent as well. and then shampoos, conditioners.
Okay, oh, maybe I don't need a tanker full of shampoo after
Perhaps
all.
not. I mean, you can supply us though.
Oh, can I? Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Okay, well, listen, Tom Pell from the Clean Kilo, thank you so much for your time today, and the best of luck, and I will watch your progress keenly and be ready with my jars.
Cool. Thank you very much.